Hi, today we are going to talk about a very important agile metric, and that is team velocity. Majority of the agile teams use velocity as their metric. Have you used it? Do you know what it is? If not, let's delve into it. And before that, let me introduce myself. I am Nidhi Kohli, the head of Agile Training Department with EduHubSpot, and we are going to talk about what velocity is, what problems it solves, why is it important, and we are going to do certain questions also along with it. So be with me, let's get started. So what is Agile team velocity? It is the amount of work the team has collectively completed in a single iteration. And let's assuming that the team is calculating user story estimates in story points, then velocity is equal to the total number of story points the team cumulatively, collectively completed as per definition of done in that iteration. Now there are a couple of points that you should keep in mind for sure. First, it is the entire team's work that gets added to the velocity, not individual. We are not talking about individual performance, it is the entire team's work. Okay. Second, we add up the units in which the team is estimating their user stories. So if they are using story points, we will use story points to calculate velocity. If they are using any other method to calculate the or to estimate the user stories, then we will use those particular points, whatever that unit they are using. And third, only those stories which are completed as per definition of done and accepted by the product owner should get added to the velocity. So that means if something is partially done, we should not add its story points to the velocity calculation. Now, as we understand what the agile team velocity is in a very simple calculation which is there, let's do a question. So let's assume that these are the user stories A to F which are completed by the team in a particular sprint. So you have to calculate what is the agile team's velocity. I would recommend pause the video, calculate and put your answer in the chat window. Okay, so what did you find? Yes, the team velocity is 17. Pretty simple, right? Just add up the story points corresponding to each of the user stories. Okay, let's bring a twist to it. Assuming the user story D, which was 4 story points, was only 50% completed. So would you add 50% completed? Its current estimate is 4 story points. So that means 2 story points were completed. Will you add 2 story points to the velocity calculation? Please write in the chat window yes or no. Yes, we will add 2 story points to the calculation, or no, we will not add. Pause, write and then see the answer. And of course, we do not add 2 story points to the velocity calculation. That's absolutely correct. Now, coming to the second part of this discussion, I think we understand what velocity is and how to calculate it. Now, let's come to the second point, which is what are the problems that the agile team velocity solves. If I think about it, there are 3 major areas. First, to help the agile team plan for the upcoming sprints and releases, and to figure out how much work they can accomplish in a particular milestone if that is already set. And second is to identify the bottlenecks associated with the agile team. So quickly find out if there are any problems which the team is facing, or figure out that does the team need support. And third and last is to manage stakeholder expectations. So if we have clarity on how much work we can accomplish by what time, then we can manage the stakeholder expectations accordingly. Now let's understand all these 3 points in a little bit more detail, and I would like to take some examples, or to do some calculations to understand these 3 major reasons. So first is to help you plan the upcoming work in the sprints or in the releases. In the example shown on your screen, this is a product backlog. It has total 160 points in the product backlog. So the total story points in the product backlog is 160. Let's take that the Agile team velocity is 10. I would like you to pause the video here and mention how many sprints the team needs to complete the work in this product backlog. Yes, it is 16 iterations or 16 sprints. Simple calculation, total is 160, Agile team velocity is 10, 160 divided by 10, it is 16 iterations. So if an iteration is 2 weeks, then you can say that it will take 16 into 2, which is 32 weeks to accomplish this work. Isn't that simple? Now let's see how we can plan a particular sprint. Assuming that your team's velocity is 12 and these are the user stories in the product backlog which are yet to be done. So if you have to pick up the user stories for your sprint backlog, which ones you will pick? Now I would again like you to pause the video and write in the chat window which user stories you will pick for your upcoming sprint. And yes, it is A, B, C and E. So why not D? I would like you to think about it and write in the chat window why we did not pick D and why we picked C and E instead. Don't worry, I will keep a watch on the comments, and if you put your answer, I will definitely reply you. Now the second point was to identify the bottlenecks or the problems that may be coming in the Agile team. Now look at this chart. Do you think there is any problem? If yes, please write in the chat. So what do you see? Yes, the last iteration, the velocity went down, which indicates that there could be some problem with it. Maybe the team could not complete their work because of underestimation. Maybe somebody went on leave, maybe something else happened. So what that problem is, we can do an RCA later, so don't worry about that. But any other thing you see in this chart? Yes, in the initial sprints, the velocity was up and down, and after some time it stabilized. And we will talk about this in a subsequent video for sure. Last, managing stakeholder expectations. So if product owner and the scrum master, they know what work they can accomplish by a particular date, or what work, how many sprints we need to complete this entire product backlog, they can communicate and interact with the stakeholder and manage their expectations accordingly. So with this, let's end this video. See, it's so simple, isn't that so? But we will do one more question here, and I'm sure you have loved it. Before that, you can find plethora of resources on www.eduhubspot, which is eduhubspot.com, and you will get plenty of resources there for your preparation for your PMP, PMI-ACP or any other Scrum or any other Agile certification. And if you still have doubt, you can always reach out to me. My email address is nidhi.kohli@eduhubspot.com. I do reply to each and every email, but give me a day or two, okay? And it is question time. So the Agile team's velocity in the first 3 sprints was 15, 25 and 10. What does this tell you? about the team progress? Option A, team faced an issue as they moved forward. Option B, team found a better way to do things in sprint 2 which helped them to increase their velocity. Option C, team is still establishing their story point estimates. Option D, team does not know what they are doing. So what is your answer? Write in the chat. Yes, the correct answer is option C. The team is still figuring out their user story point estimates. And why is that so? Remember, in the question it is written these are the estimates for the first 3 sprints. I know we have not talked about it, we will talk for sure, but in the beginning sprints, in the first 3 to 6 sprints, the team's velocity can fluctuate up and down. The team is still figuring out what the estimates are, how they are trying to understand each other's estimates, and there are a lot of initial hiccups and problems that need to resolve. So it is okay to have some fluctuations. I will definitely make a video on this topic soon. Thank you, and till next time, happy learning.